Boyan Slat, kid who is cleaning plastic from the ocean, should be Times Person of the Year. Boyan Slat has better executive functioning than Greta. He's making difference rather than crying that no one is doing what we wants. He's an actual leader, who more closely resembles successful people who get things done, like Elon Musk. Greta resembles a teenager who didn't get the latest iPhone, and it's your fault she didn't get it. If anyone is going to make a difference, it's the kid you're possibly having to judge because he hasn't captured attention by crying. Person of the Year isn't about who did the most good this year, it's about who defined the media conversations of the year. FFS both Hitler and Stalin have been Person of the Year. I didn't know who Boyan Slat was until I saw this thread. Western media this year has been mostly between Brexit, Trump, and Thunberg. Brexit and Trump haven't been exclusive to this year, so they're not fully eligible. TLDR, Person of the Year is a media observation, not an honor or an award. How many times does it have to be explained in this god-forsaken subreddit that the Person of the Year award goes to the most influential individual, regardless of how good or bad they are? People are misunderstanding what Person of the Year is. It is not an honor to somebody who did something noble, it's someone who's influenced the course of the world significantly in the year, for good or bad. Thunberg, Trump, and Hong Kong protesters are probably the best candidates. At least both of them are doing something, more than what can be said for most. Saving the planet isn't a competition. Two or more people are allowed to work towards the same goal simultaneously, and if one person is doing what you perceive to be a better job, that doesn't make the other person wrong or bad by default. I personally don't care whose face is on a magazine. The Plastic Ocean Kid is doing a great job at cleaning up, and Greta managed to raise a lot of attention. Win-win. Everyone complaining about this needs to stop acting like they have a lifetime Time subscription and lay awake at night dreaming about who the Person of the Year will be. Who cares if it's Greta or anyone else, you all just want to be mad about something. Here's my opinion, I like him and Greta. Lots of bullshit in this thread, so to right some wrong. The ocean cleanup by Boyan Slat is a very good effort, but as far as I can tell, the system is not working, as lots of ocean workers told some months ago. There is another system designed to clean the rivers. I hope they have the means to push these projects further. For these projects to work, they need money and awareness. The point that Greta Thunberg is trying to make is that we should listen to scientists and inject more money/knowledge/political will in this direction, which is the same direction as the project from Boyan Slat, only this time, the idea would be to stop putting plastic in oceans on top of cleaning it. Crazy, isn't it? Also, this talking point had made the rounds in every right-wing propaganda channel since several weeks, so I guess everyone with a brain can figure where this unpopular opinion is coming from. Get a fucking grip. How much do you do to help the environment? Complaining on Reddit about a 16-year-old with Asperger's making a difference sure isn't doing shit. You people don't actually give a shit about this kid, he's only brought up in the context of trying to discredit Greta. I think wanting a world that isn't ruined by older generations and being vocal about it isn't really comparable to whining about not getting the newest iPhone. It's sad that this is an unpopular opinion, but I couldn't agree with you more. We're comparing a kid who at the age of 16 single-handedly designed a system for cleaning trash out of the ocean that's actually been implemented and is making a difference vs a teenager that decided she's not going to school until the country that leads the world in reducing carbon emissions literally changes the weather for her. The whole point is that she's raising awareness because nobody cares. You need to have a special kind of power to scold the world's leaders. I still think it should have been the Hong Kong protesters though. Boyan Slat's solutions actually isn't so great at all. While I'm sure he will make the plastic removal workable, it gives the signal that it is okay to trash plastic instead of stopping to produce it. Greta actually wants to stop the source of pollution. Also, this article, in Dutch but I'm sure you can Google translate it, talks about the dangers of his plastic catcher to sea life, and how he doesn't really care about that. https://the correspondent NL/10638/ de plastic vanger van Boyan Slat ineffective pepperdu oren majelikin ramp voor het /1298668455414 FB 336 FB1. She is doing more for the movement itself. She is making it get the attention it needs. The fact that you snidely insult her while praising this kid really shows you don't give a fuck about the issue and just want to insult her character when she has more of it than you could ever have. I'm so sick and fucking tired of the anti-Greta circle jerk. She's raising awareness and does a lot more than just cry. She made a lot of news this year, and thus is a news magazine's Person of the Year. And 16-year-old crying about not getting the latest iPhone? Okay, boomer. I don't think you know how Person of the Year is awarded. Also, let's face it, most people who bring up Boyan don't actually care about the kid but just use it for a way to discredit others. We don't have to tear one person down to build person number two up. We can acknowledge the good being done by two people at the same time. I can't stand this type of statement from people. I'm sure if we looked we could find someone doing more or as much as Boyan Slat. But that doesn't mean we have to trash his efforts in the process. This is the bullshit that divides people. And as another poster said, Times Person of the Year is largely about media/social media impact. It doesn't always have to be because they did some great thing, it's because people were talking and posting about them. Just like this post is at the moment. I think that Boyan Slat is cool, but Times Person of the Year is supposed to be the person that made the biggest impact, not necessarily who the greatest person in the entire year was. I mean, Hitler was Times Person of the Year one year. But I'm curious though. Why do you feel that way about Greta? He is doing that since 2012, 2019 wasn't a particular year that he had much impact. Nobody knew who the fuck he was until you made this post. That's why he didn't win. Person of the Year is about influence, not goodness. The fact that 90% of people reading this have never heard of this guy means that he's a bad choice. I have a question. What does a successful person look like? People who yell the loudest, as opposed to those who get stuff done, get the most praise and attention. Nothing new here. Let's not forget who was Person of the Year in 1938. Crazy how many people are hating on a kid with good intentions. Aren't there more important things to lose your mind about? Boyan Slat, kid who is cleaning plastic from the ocean, should be Times Person of the Year. How dare you? We need them both. Honesty. Some people are good in raising awareness and some are good at inventing methods and applying them, thus, they complement each other. First of all, I would have been equally happy if he won. However, please don't act like you care about the environment. If you did, you would be aware Greta never intentioned to get things done by herself, because she literally can't. If it was her decision, a hell of a lot would be different. All she can do is be the collective voice of environmentalists screaming in the face of bourgeoisie in power to fix this shit. Not to mention, she clearly stated she dedicated her award to all environmentalists, so Mr. Slat joins the rest of us in this victory. He's certainly trying. Though I have read reports that his plastic catchers also catch sea life. Greta resembles a teenager who didn't get the latest iPhone, and it's your fault she didn't get it. Oof, you really just compared the ecological well-being of the Earth to an iPhone. Times Person of the Year has nothing to do with how much they improved the world. That isn't what that specific category is intended for. This is a popular opinion though, especially among those who see the award different as what it really is. It's a media/influence award, not who executed the best or worked the hardest. If it was that, then I still wouldn't be Boyan, it would be some social entrepreneur, best execution, or a rando who works in a sweatshop, hardest worker of the year, etc. Successful people who get things done, like Elon Musk. Yikes. Muskrat's whole thing is just a dick-waving competition. He's a shitty leader. You just worship him for the memes, and Boyan's project isn't working. Greta is trying to get the governments more interested in going green and putting funding into people like Boyan's projects so they can find something that does work. Do you really pay attention to the news, or are you just trying to be mad about something? Greta is right to complain that corporations and politicians aren't doing shit about climate change. I do think Slat deserved it more, but Greta deserves respect for echoing the feelings of a lot of other people and for the climate strikes. He doesn't have autism and 1% ER parents. Agree completely. Why can't we have people that are actually doing things instead of bitching about them? The person of the year isn't about who did something better, it's about who was more newsworthy in the eyes of the media and most people. Many times someone really controversial gets it. Mr. Beast should have got it imo. Not that this award means anything, I guess it was only a matter of time before the sub had a bitch fest about Greta. Goof point. I admire Greta for making people think. But I also admire Boyan because he came up with a plan to solve a problem everyone thought was insoluble, then got the funding and led the team to make it happen. A debatable title, but I agree. This is a pretty unpopular opinion held by those who seem to have peaked in high school. +1, I guess. Times Person of the Year is about selling issues, not about actual awarding people who deserve it. It's about selling magazines and possibly picking up a whole generation of new subscribers. Business.